All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us here today for our Seven Ranges Summer Camp Leader Meeting. If you heard me already earlier, this is the first time we've done a Zoom option for this leaders meeting. And so having about 40 people on Zoom this afternoon is great. And hopefully we can answer some of your questions. So as a quick housekeeping item, I would like to know where everybody is from. So if you guys don't mind putting in the chat your troop and maybe your city, state. I know we have a lot of out of council troops that attend Seven Ranges Scout Reservation. So just kind of getting a sense of where everyone's from is coming from today would be awesome. So my name is Sarah Biltz. I am the Buckeye Council Program and Marketing Director. I was pretty integral in last year's summer camp operation, and I have worked for the Buckeye Council for almost 9 years now. Wow, that's a long time, hard to believe. But we are here today to talk about Summer Camp 2024. So who is with us today? Today we have Paul Terry with us. Paul raised wave. There we go. And we have Kayla Bartley. Kayla, wave. Paul is our program director at 7R this summer, and Kayla is our commissioner director. Tim Beednell can't join us. He's going to be our reservation director for this year. He was our health and safety director last year. He's actually at camp school this week, so he is doing scouting today. And Dennis Vargo also going to be with us today. He is actually at Seven Ranges right now for a different event. And then I'm Sarah, like I said earlier. So what is our vision for Summer Camp 2024? It's this. It's all of these photos. We can't wait to have a full camp. We've got almost every campsite full for 3 out of our 7 weeks of camp. And Cub Scout Summer Camp has already surpassed attendance for last year. So that's going to be bigger and better than it ever has before. And we're excited to have you on the reservation with us this year. So our area directors, I don't know if we have any of them on the line today, but if you are on the line and I call your name, just feel free to come off and wave and say hi. But, sorry. Kat Sayer, who was last year's frog director, is going to be the Akela director. So she will be the director of Cub Scout Summer Camp, along with Jen Wenzel, who was also over there last year. Laura Higby is going to be in the office again this year. We have Janine Marsilia, who's going to be our aquatics director. She's going to be a first-time aquatics director. We're really excited for that. We have a lot of new directors this year. So we have Hayden Michelle, who's going to be at ecology, Owen Rare, who's going to be at frog, Tim Anderson is going to be at field sports again, Emerson Roth and Fred Hobbs are going to be at Green Bar and leading all of our adult training options. So if you don't take advantage of that, I'd highly encourage you to do so. Hayden Paul is going to be our handicraft director this year. And Riley Brisbane is going to be our outdoor skills director. He was actually our handicraft director last year. Aaron Lockhart, who's been in STEM for quite some time, is going to be the STEM director. And then Sylvia Sanderson is going to be our trading post manager. So we have a lot of new faces in director positions, but we're really excited to have them be with us. We think they're going to do a really great job. I left this slide in here. Typically, Steve Ernst, our camp ranger, would come up on stage and talk about ranger stuff. But I left it in here just to, so you have a name to the face. This is Steve Ernst. He's our camp ranger, and he is hard at work along with a whole group of other folks making camp ready and beautiful for this summer. In fact, when I asked him if he wanted to attend this meeting today, he said he can't. He has to mow grass. So that's not surprising. It's a really nice day. And so Steve is out mowing today. But that's Steve. He, along with our quartermaster, Jack Wells, they're going to be your key people in case you have like maintenance issues within your campsite. And Steve is hard at work with working with our constructors on our shower houses, our brand new shower houses for this year. All right, I'm going to turn things over to Paul, and he's going to talk about our Lost in Space theme.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for making it to this meeting. My name is Paul Terry. I'm going to be the program director for this summer. I'm very excited about our theme this year. It is Lost in Space. Campers will find themselves lost in space on an adventure across the galaxy. They will navigate the stars, telling stories of bravery, loyalty, trustworthiness, and other points of the Scout Law. So the campers will get to see how the skits are related to the Scout Law and examples of exemplary scouting behavior. We have some new patches this summer. As you can see at the bottom of the screen there, the campers will get one. There's an adult leader one, and then others you can acquire at the trading post if you want to collect the set. And a big thing about the patches this year is they will be glow in the dark. So in the middle there, you see the Lost in Space theme there, and the patches are glow in the dark. So that's really exciting and fun. We hope you guys will like those as well. New merit badges this summer. We are offering sustainability, which is Eagle required. It's one of those Eagle required merit badges along with environmental science. So it'll be at the Ecology Lodge. We're really hoping that Scouts will take that needed Eagle required merit badge. Also, to fit the Lost in Space theme, we have model design and building, energy, and nuclear science. So those are all fun new merit badges we're offering this year. So we encourage your Scouts to sign up for the theme-related merit badges. And most of those will take place at STEM. We are having a Falling Stars challenge where troops or patrols can go out and accomplish a task that shows their scouting skills, and then they'll show it to a staff member and receive some type of credit for that. So it'll be kind of like troops can go out and do it as they want or as they can, time restraining. So that's a new program that we're coming up with this year. And then also for the older Scouts, we have the Nova Award that'll be offered through the STEM Lodge. And myself, along with the STEM staff and STEM director, will be working on offering that to the Scouts for the older Scouts that are looking for something new. We're very excited to announce that we have 5 new shower houses across camp. So if you're coming to a Good Turn weekend, you probably have already seen that. But they'll be taking place of the shower houses that were already in place. So they'll be in the same locations relatively. So that is exciting to look forward to, a much needed improvement. Also, a new announcement for this summer is that transportation for our Camp Honors Pipestone program will only be offered for youth. Adults are expected to walk about 200 yards in order to participate in the Pipestone program. And this is just to limit the vehicles that are used in camp. We want to keep Scouts safe, so limiting the vehicle usage there. Frog is continuing as it was last summer. If you were there last summer, it is from 9 a.m. till 10:50. And the reason is because we want the first year Scouts who want to participate in the Learn to Swim program. That program starts at 11 at the waterfront. So we want those Scouts to participate in Frog fully, but also have the chance to do the Learn to Swim program. And then also it'll allow some Scouts to take a morning merit badge at 11 as well. So their whole morning is not consumed with Frog. All meals will be served in the dining hall. No option for in-site meals. And if you have any dietary restrictions, please communicate that to us before camp begins. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing all your faces this summer very soon.
Awesome. Thank you, Paul. I just wanted to add a little bit of information to a couple of Paul's points. If you have scouts that have dietary restrictions, or you as an adult have dietary restrictions, there is a dietary restriction Google form that you can find in any of the pre-camp emails that have been sent. And if you are not receiving those pre-camp emails, please, you can send me a chat in here on the Zoom, and I'll make sure you get added to those. And you just fill out that form, and that goes into a spreadsheet and goes directly to our kitchen staff. So that way they know well ahead of time that you or your specific scouts have dietary restrictions. And we ask that that gets filled out by the parent of the scout, not necessarily the leader, because they're going to know their kids best. And then real quick on the adult transportation for Pipestone, any youth that needs transportation will have all of the transportation that they need, but adults that need transportation will get transported to like the first pickup circle, but then we'll need to walk to the ceremony circle, which is about 300 yards. So that, because we quite frankly don't have enough vehicles to haul all of the adults, and that frees up the vehicles for camp emergencies that might happen during that time. All right. Oh, sorry, Paul, there was another slide. I can do this one. Okay. Sunday swim checks will occur as they did last year, but Cub Scouts that are camping at Camp Akela on that first part of the week, the Sunday through Wednesday session, will conduct their swim checks at 4:30 p.m. So that means that all campers at Scout Summer Camp need to be in line by 4:15 to allow Cub Scouts to begin their swim checks at 4:30. And then Scouts attending Scout Summer Camp will be able to, be in that line after the Cub Scouts and finish theirs up. We talked pretty extensively last week at the Good Turn weekend about how to expedite this swim check process on Sundays. And so one of the things that we're highly encouraging troops to do is have their scouts pretty much ready to, and maybe you already do this, but have your scouts pretty much ready to go straight from the administration building parking lot to the waterfront, and let the adults that are taking the trailer up to their camp and then can make their way down there, or whatever your troop needs to do. But there's a lot of time lost in that like 1 to 2 o'clock hour that scouts could be conducting swim tests. So the easiest way is just to have scouts pretty much ready, change out of their Class A's, and go directly to the waterfront after check-in happens at the administration building parking lot. Since I do know we have some new troops that are on the call today, every scout needs to conduct their swim check at Seven Ranges. You can't necessarily bring a certification that your scout is a swimmer or a beginner. It's part of our Camp Honors program that everybody does a swim check on Sundays. So everybody will need to conduct a swim check. There's a no cars in camp policy. The only vehicle allowed in campsites is the one attached to the troop trailer. I would say the only exception to that is if you have a handicap placard on your car, you can drive from your campsite to the dining hall, but that's it. So no cars in camp. We're walking and it's beautiful out there. So just enjoy the nature while we're walking from place to place. And then we have a no visitor policy as well. So this also extends to all of our parents for the Wednesday night Order of the Arrow call out ceremony. So anybody that wants to be on property needs to be registered for camp. We have a no visitor policy, so there's not the Thursday night family night, and folks can't just come to check in on their kid, or just want to come tour the camp. If you want to be on camp property, you need to be registered for camp. All right, this is the summer camp pricing chart. A lot of you have probably already seen this before. We've lapsed the early bird deadline, but the next deadline to be aware of is May 15th. that's when technically May 16th is when the price goes up again. So if you have people that you need to register, make sure you register them now. And in fact, you're going to want to register them, especially if they're a scout, if they're taking merit badges, because just yesterday, week 3 registered for their merit badges, and weeks 4 through 7 will register on the following dates here. Registration opens up at noon each one of these days and then stays open. It's not like it opens at noon and you only have like a 1-hour window to register your Scouts for Merit badges. It stays open, but there are some merit badges that fill up pretty quickly. So I would highly encourage you to get on at noon and complete that process. You'll receive emails. You'll receive 3 emails leading up to that merit badge registration time with a step-by-step how-to guide. And I think anybody that's done it so far has said it's been pretty easy, but if you have questions, our team is on standby each one of these days in order to help you register your Scouts for Merit badges. And that concludes the presentation. I do see that we have some brand new troops that are going to be with us this summer. Thank you. We're excited to have you at Seven Ranges and hope that you have a great time. But we're going to open it up for questions now, whatever the question, and it can also be questions about Cub Scout Summer Camp too. We're pretty well versed in all of it. So you can either come off mute or put your questions in the chat and we will answer them. Fred asked, can people use cars to drop off stuff at campsites on arrival day? Everything should be in a troop trailer. So the trailer goes to the campsite and drops off the stuff, or one vehicle goes to the campsite and drops off the stuff. If your troop doesn't have a trailer, we'd probably allow like maybe 2 cars to the campsite and then go drop them back off at the administration building parking lot. But there's a lot of cars in camp on the Sundays and Saturdays. So I would say as few vehicles as possible. Is an Ohio fishing license required to fish at camp? Nope, because it's a private property, so you do not need a fishing license to fish at camp. And anybody can fish at any point in the day. So like if it's open program, you can fish, or if you're an adult leader that obviously isn't attending merit badge sessions, you can just go down to the lake and fish whenever. Kevin asked, what is a Thursday night camp cookout going to look like? Well, we're actually trying to figure out how we are going to do that. In fact, it might actually be a lunch, or it might honestly not be happening at all. Just going to be transparent about that, because the more we talk about the logistics of it, the more we go back to, well, people are already going to be wanting to eat in the dining hall. So we might just have the dinner in the dining hall. And what I mean by that is the best place to have the cookout would be in the dining hall general area. That's where the kitchen is. And so whether you have people come, between a time frame between 5:45 and 6:45 to get food, where are they going to sit? They're probably going to want to sit in the dining hall to eat their food. And then, what's the food going to look like? It's going to be like hamburgers, hot dogs, stuff like that. That would be the meal for then. And so is it better to just have a more casual dinner in the dining hall and then have like a informal, Class B type retreat. But we're actually thinking about possibly moving that camp-wide cookout to a lunch. It might be a little bit easier to conduct it during lunch, but we're still trying to figure all that out. So once we have more details on that, we will certainly be communicating it with everybody. I see Carl has a hand up, and then I'm going to come back and answer these other questions that are in the chat.
Hey, Sarah. Yeah, just real quick, in reference to the Thursday cookout, it mentioned that would be an opportunity if troops wanted to do their own meal at their campsite, bring their own stuff.
Yes.
With question mark around the cookout, how would that impact that?
It wouldn't necessarily impact it. So what Carl is asking, we said that if your troop wanted to do an insight meal, Thursday night would be a good night to do that, because that's when we would be doing the cookout, and it would be an informal dinner. There wouldn't necessarily be like important information being presented in the dining hall that night. So if your troop wanted to do a meal in their campsite, they can, and they still can. It doesn't change it. Troops could certainly do a meal in their campsite, but troops would need to bring all of that food for that night, and then would be provided. And then we would just ask that you let us know if you're planning on doing that. But whatever your troop decides is up to you.
Cool, thank you.
Joe, does that answer that, Carl?
Yep, that was perfect. Thanks.
Joe asked any updates on campsite evaluations. Kayla, do you want to answer this one, or do you want me to?
Either way is fine.
Me? Zoe said.
Either is fine.
Okay. So campsite evaluations, it's going to be a lot like last year. The rubric is changing a little bit. Kayla, our camp commissioner, is working on those adjustments, and that will be published well in advance of camp. So that way you're prepared for those campsite inspections. But if your troop achieves 100 on your campsite inspection, you will receive a coup feather, and there's no limit to how many coup feathers your troop will receive. All right, Mark says, we're coming from Buffalo, New York, and have a little bit of a drive. What time can we show up, and what would you recommend? Great question, Mark. So we will assign troops a check-in time, and that will be communicated about 2 to 3 weeks out, I think, is when we send out that information from when your troop is coming to camp on your exact check-in time. But troops, we do every 15 minutes, starting at 1 and ending at 3 or so. Just kind of depends on how many troops are in camp that week and the size of those troops. So, but one of the things we can do is if your troop does have a bit of a drive, and that's going to adjust when you'll be arriving, because you're just making the full drive that same day and you would prefer a later check-in time, just let me know. I'd be the best person to know that information, because I'll be assigning those check-in times, and we will certainly work with you on that. All right. Can troops cook in their camp on their own on Thursday? Matt and Sabrina, did my answer to Carl's question earlier suffice for that? I'll let you just respond in the chat. Yep. Okay. Will the Johnny Appleseed 5K take place this year? Yes. That is on Tuesday nights. It's directly after retreat, the 7:30, 7:45-ish, starting at the trading post. For those of you that have not been to camp before, we do a 5K run on Tuesday nights. Anybody and everybody is welcome to participate in that. The polar plunge, I do not, and Paul walked away. Kayla, do you remember, what do we do for that?
It's normally in the morning. I think it's Thursday morning.
Okay. Yeah. I think it might be on the schedule. I'm not as familiar with that one, because it's not one that I would personally want to do. But I do think it's on Thursday mornings or maybe Wednesday mornings. But it should be in the leader guide on the overall schedule. What other questions? Well, if anybody has any other questions, feel free to ask them. I will say that the best source of any information camp related is going to be found in the leader guide. You can obviously send us an email. You can send me an email directly. My information is in the leader guide, and I'll put a link to that leader guide here in the chat. We are going to, we've been improving the leader guide year over year, but one of the things that we really want to do with the leader guide this year is have that be the, I don't know, full catalog of information. So what I mean by that is if something is changing, we're putting it in the leader guide. It's not, it might be announced on Sunday nights at our leader meeting, but it's also going to be in the leader guide. Obviously, we're not going to put something in the leader guide that is like, information about a weather alert. We would be sending out a specific like communication about that, but other things that are pertinent to camp are all going to be in the leader guide. And there's a, on like page 2, there's an edits page. So you can see as things are added to the leader guide, you can find that information there. But I'm going to grab the link and put it in the chat right now. And that link is dynamic. So I would not encourage you to download it because as you download it, that's like a specific point in time. But if you just like go to that link, 7-hour leader guide, it'll take you directly to the leader guide and it's dynamic. So the link never changes, but the document will. Any other questions? Going once. Going twice. I'll stay on for another couple of minutes in case people have like specific questions that they don't want to ask to the group. But thank you all for joining us tonight or this afternoon. We are super excited for camp. It's just like over a month away. Staff arrives in just a month and a couple of days. So super exciting. Thank you for joining us today, and we can't wait to see you along the trail.
Hey, Sarah.
Yeah.
I have a specific question.
Uh-huh.
We were doing our